Hi, welcome to my channel, Sarasam, and I've been doing a series of soulmate readings. When I say soulmate readings, it's more of an exploration for me as well as you. So basically what it's about is I kind of focus and tune into, you know, asking the universe what it wants us to know about, soulmates. So it could be, I have no idea what's going to come up, okay? I've been really enjoying it. I've done this a few times now. And eventually I want to, lead this into a joint kind of thing where you'll be able to send in ideas and experiences and requests and stuff like that. You can still do that now if you go to the email address in the box below for private readings. You can use that same email and just email me, and there's no charge or anything for that. So it's just, I thought as a group it would be kind of interesting, to begin to just find out, I'm kind of trusting and letting the universe instruct us at this point. Okay, I have no idea. Last time I was quite blown away by what came up, so we'll see. So I'm going to use a similar layout that I did last time. We'll see where that goes. Okay, I'm using the Llewellyn deck of cards. I like this deck a lot because it has mythology and a lot of historical context to it, which I think is kind of relevant to the type of reading that we're doing. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Move these over a little bit. I'm also going to use the Wisdom of Avalon for some of the clarifiers. So I'm just kind of trusting the universe here to guide us, and even in the cards that I'll use for clarifiers. Okay, so I'm going to I'm going to kind of read going down this way, and then you kind of like this, okay? Up and down sort of thing. And then, so beginning here and culminating here. So I just kind of feel like it's sort of like a quilt work, right? Telling a story. And I want to read the story. And that's the way, and I'm hoping you do too. So, okay, soulmates. I'm just going to say, okay, universe, what do you want us to know about soulmates? Instruction about soulmates. Okay, so I've got Page of Cups beginning it, and I'm going to draw some cards on that. So what I'm getting here is that it's kind of like a place of renewal to encounter the phenomena of soulmates, a willingness to re-emerge into the chaos of emotions and spiritual energy. I've got that's a Page of Cups, and I've got the Nine of Swords, the Three of Swords, and the Hangman. So I think what I'm getting, as I said, it's a renewal, and I think it is born out of a lot of past experiences of trying to figure things out in terms of painful encounters that we've had in the past, and then still, in spite of all that, being willing to step back into that energy, and then offered a different perspective. So it kind of feels like, to me, we have to have already been in the human experience and felt maybe what it's like not to be with a soulmate, and then be able to move back into the different perspective and moving back into it this time, asking for, being willing to surrender to a soulmate energy. And then I've got the Sun showing up under that, and so I think that what that builds on with the Page of Cups is kind of the illumination and the clarity and the trust that we get from the Sun. So the Sun is now with us in terms of, because we were willing to move out of the dark kind of energy of you know, orchestrating the world ourselves, and then maybe getting hurt, and therefore being able, as I said, this new perspective of surrendering to a higher order or higher power. And that's why I see the sun coming in, because I think the sun comes in then to reward us in a way, and to illuminate and to light us as we move back into the path of now, search of our partner, or and it could be a collective reading in terms of last time I did it, it was kind of about the world moving that way, but this time I'm getting it more down to the individual. Okay, so I just have to say that's what's coming up for me, and that's what I'm getting here. So moving towards the soulmate connection, which is the Two of Cups. Now these are non-gender, so don't get confused by the genders like the Two of Cups or the sun being a male energy or anything like that. The energies that show up here are going to be kind of the divine masculine and feminine energies, and not the genders, okay? So what I see here is finding, with this now, us armed and backed by the support, the warmth, the trust, and the illumination of the sun, and that willingness to kind of become reborn in a way, as I said, like the Ace of Cups, and then being able to, recognize that we need something that is born under spirit, which the Two of Cups is, and that's, kind of a really unique situation where two people come together under spirit with that kind of having experienced the other. And then I've got the Nine of Cups there. So the Nine of Cups is kind of like initially moving into that state at a point when desiring it, but still the temptation or the residue of the past when we were, kind of hurt and, trying to process things in a more kind of with our ego. I define ego as evading God's oneness sort of thing. So we were trying to figure it out, and that's where the Nine of Swords came in, and nothing made sense. Why did I get hurt, kind of thing. So, and now what I see is it's still kind of tempting, because we've got the wasp standing there on the end, and the wasp, the wasp is kind of watching and waiting to see what we're going to do, even though now at this point we kind of know that this is what we're looking for, sort of, and we know what our heart desires, and we're going to be guided by a sense of commitment to this, with the King of Swords showing up, and trusting the truth of the sword. In other words, being willing, not being invested in the outcome of any encounters along the way, but really being invested in being able to test it and kind of pierce it to see if it's true. And then I see the Hermit showing up here. And so the Hermit is, with this knowledge that we have now, and with the ability, as I said, with the sword of truth, to be able to use it to test, and to pierce and move and, kind of push into the truth. We now have the Hermit. So lining up our own, being willing to be alone for one thing on this path, and while we're alone in search of what the sun is now illuminating and what we see as our desire, but also getting clear while we're alone who we are and what our values are, and what because that's really important, that we're on our truthful path in order to encounter the mate that's also the mate of our soul, so that we're kind of on the same path, okay? And that's how I see the Hermit here. And it's coming from, because commitment is born from this. I think commitment is born from a sense of committing to ourselves first, in terms of who we are and what's truthful for us, okay? And the willingness, as I said, to go there and discover that, to take the time to be alone, to walk the streets or meditate or whatever, to begin to get that sense of who we are inside. Because I think we're tired of wandering. We get to a place, I think, along this line where we get tired of wandering in the cold, and every time something comes up, it's like, maybe this is it. And then, no, this isn't it, and getting hurt, sort of thing. So kind of taking our time to get clear and recognizing that this is a really valuable part. And I know for me, I don't want to die having not encountered or not kind of gone there. And I always think that even if I spend this part of my life or whenever at least searching for the truth, even though I only know what I know, then I feel like that commitment, which I'm showing here, is worth celebrating in itself. Commit to that path in me. And the Chariot. So I think when the timing, this is about divine timing. So I believe that, as I say, we're now lighting the path and we're on our way, and we're, kind of armed with commitment and the sword of truth. And so therefore, now getting into the energy of the Chariot, where the universe will take us there in divine timing. And then the Page of Swords is showing, I'm going to go down here. So we got the Three of Pentacles showing up here. And as I said, once we're lined up, or maybe I should speak in the first term, once I'm lined up with who I am, then I will be able to attract people into my life that also believe the same things, because of the laws of the universe, which is showing up here in the Justice card above that. So what I put out is what I attract back. So if I'm putting, authentically who I am, I will attract authentically what is right for me, sort of thing. We've got the Six of Pentacles on the page. The Page of Swords is then showing up. As I say, the Justice card is now bringing this to us, and it's hearing us. It's ready to reward us. I'm going to go back to the I statements. It's ready to reward me because I've put out in total earnestness and truth who I am, and also what I desire, and that I'm willing to wait, and I'm willing to test it with the sword. So the Page of Sword is kind of like, okay, now holding the position, holding where you are, and being aware of the signs and messages and things that are around me, us. And then we got the Six of Pentacles. So being able to share this energy in the world as I keep getting mixed up, as we encounter, I'm going to go back to we, I'm just more comfortable, sorry for the confusion here. Okay, so the Six of Pentacles, as we feel much more abundance, just knowing that we're on the path and that we're following it, and that the universe is hearing us, and that we're, doing the thing, and just being able to put all of that energy out into the universe. That's how I see the Six of Pentacles, like sharing it with people, because that's part of the signs. If you share it, then the energy starts, the vibration starts to rise. We got the King of Cups here. So coming from our heart, coming from our caring about not just ourselves, but the people around us, in the world, and wanting that kind of love, not just for ourselves, but for other people too, wanting them to be in that place of heart-centeredness and, true nurturing and reciprocation, that kind of thing. And the Judgment. And out of this whole kind of, because we had the Hangman up here, so this different perspective of living in the world, not just for ourselves, but as we unveil the truth, we sharing it with others and wanting the best for them too. And that's where the Judgment card comes in, because the Judgment card is kind of like the rebirth card, and it's like this, this light has entered into our consciousness, or even unconsciousness, while we, maybe are dreaming or sleeping or whatever, but in some way we've now come in from the war, which is back here with the Three of Swords and stuff. And now, as we've experienced that, we're open and waiting, and the light is coming in, because we have the sun there too. And so moving more and more, as I say, towards the commitment of a higher nature of, what partnership or marriage represents. We've got the Hierophant showing up there. They've got the Devil showing up, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Five of Cups. So being willing not to be tempted by what we try to figure out ourselves with the Eight of Pentacles. You know, sometimes we'll go in and we'll say, okay, I'm, you know, doing due diligence in my own life here, and I've done this and this and this, and what I figured out is that this is kind of what I need next, kind of thing. So we're doing our own individual research on ourselves and on our lives, trying to figure that out. And that's kind of the plan that's being put forward, working with the devil kind of thing, is once again moving back into misinformation, telling, you know, where we hear, you know, oh, this is what you need to do. You need to figure all of your future out. You need to have a plan. You need to, you know, and then execute it, rather than, you know, what we're asking for our heart's desire here. And then I've got the Five of Cups. So it's, you know, we have to remember that we let go of that back here when we came back as the Page of Cups, from coming out of that, where we did try to do it by the plan, so to, you know, and now it's like there's something new that we've discovered here. So letting go of the old paradigm and moving back and moving into something new that is kind of like we haven't experienced it yet. So we're trusting, we, you know, kind of have a sense of it, but we haven't actually, we don't really, you know yet. But it's enough for us to then take it on and say that's, you know, kind of like a knight. We got the Knight of Wands here. So on the mission of our next path, which is what I see the Knight of Wands coming in, our next path leading us to this state of commitment. And I believe commitment is a state and not a contract and not an idea, which I think this is what the devil and the Eight of Pentacles is about. Because that's more about making a deal based on what you think you want. And this is more of a state of being, of commitment. And I think that's what we're kind of looking at moving into in the soulmate search. And then the Knight of Wands, being able to pursue that. It's kind of like a mission, right? And committing to it. As I said, with the Hierophant, demands commitment, right? Then we've got the the Ten of Pentacles and the Seven of Swords, or Seven of Cups, sorry. So kind of knowing that where we're heading is going to bring us true serenity and peace and abundance and joy, which is the Ten of Pentacles showing, and knowledge, right? Which is the Ten of Pentacles showing up here. And living in harmony, because now we are authentically who we are, and we're drawing, you know, into us, and on a world plane too, because remember I said it's about sharing this with the world around us too. Because everything for everyone is kind of brand new. It's not like there's experts around that go, oh yeah, you know what, I can teach you how to find your soulmate. No, I think this is why we're exploring this, because I believe that we have to follow the universe and kind of just like, you know, believe in the process that we're attempting to kind of figure out here as the universe is teaching us stuff, okay? Then I see the Six of Swords. So kind of moving through very calmly and you know, confidently, moving through day-to-day kind of, you know, kind of chaos, kind of ups and downs, that kind of thing. And just moving through that until knowing that we will be moving more and more as this proceeds into a new state as a world. Because remember, it's about sharing this with the world as a collective, but also as an individual, and finding that soulmate tribe, you know, within humanity. Then we've got the Death card. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go like this, right? Yeah. So we've got the Death card showing up here. So I remember I said it's about letting go of the past paradigm. So I kind of feel like the commitment that we've made by letting go of the past paradigm with the Five of Cups is now, it is kind of like, okay, we're not there anymore. We've let it go, because remember we had the Judgment, the rebirth coming. And with the rebirth, the awareness that there's a new light coming through that's guiding us towards this new perspective. So then we've got the Death card showing up here, so that there is an ending that has happened. And we are moving beyond and taking with us the Seven of Swords. So taking with us this beginning of admitting that there's something more that we need to kind of understand here and experience here beyond kind of the, the Three of Sword type and the kind of, when we try to control everything, and there's that sort of risk factor that goes on there, because you kind of jump into things and you don't really, there's no guidance or anything, and then, with the Three of Swords we get hurt or whatever. And so this is more beginning to understand and to learn that there is another kind of component that's being offered to us, and following our intuition. Because if we follow our intuition instead of using, our five senses, I guess, this is a sixth sense that we want to follow. And as I say, moving just like the page, trusting at that point and moving into, the kind of chaos of emotion and spirit here. Having left behind the other conflictual kind of world. Then we've got the Magician. So I believe this is the path that we're going on now to transformation. So transforming us in readiness for the soulmate experience is how I see that happening. And because the stars here, so we are being guided by a very powerful source, and it's kind of a similar guidance, that it's like the, ships sail by the North Star sort of thing, or now we're sailing towards, as you can see here with the Six of Swords, sailing towards our destiny of transformation here, following the stars. And it provides a lot of healing too, because, there's a purity about it. It's just a surrender about it. There's a trust, okay? Then the Two of Swords, like getting to the place of understanding that as long as we try to have to make decisions and choices just based on, okay, I'm either going to do this or I'm going to do that. No, I don't believe in that, so I'm going to do that. But then I don't believe in that, so I'm going to do this, right? So it doesn't work, and that's why it kind of renders us in a position of, inability to even move. It's almost catatonic in a way. And so coming to that place of understanding where, it's not choosing to do that. As you can see, she's blindfolded here. So once again, understanding to follow the moon and follow the intuition, because there's the whole thing of the emotions and spirit, like we had here in the page, and here in the Eight of Swords. So she needs to kind of turn around and trust and move into that without trying to control it in any way with her mind. Then we've got the Knight of Pentacles showing up there. So I do believe at this point there's a certain level of knowledge that is, as we speak here today, even with this reading, and this isn't the only source, so there has been and continues to be an offer of higher knowledge as we commit more and more to this, being offered to us to guide us along this, path, as the Sun was saying, into enlightenment. Then we got the Four of Pentacles, so feeling like now, this is actually the place of a sense of stability and security within ourselves. I think at this point we're beginning to feel really solidly with our feet on the ground, because Queen of Wands here, and this is, as I say, male or female, but knowing that we are now very firmly on our path. And how much more stable or secure, I think, can you be than knowing you're on your path? It's kind of like when you go traveling, and you're traveling all around the world, and it's all exciting and everything, and it feels kind of risky. You get new kind of adventures and excitement, but then you come home and you walk down the road where your home is, and you get that feeling of, oh, I feel so good to have my feet on the ground here, and I know where I am. And that's what I think we are when we know we're on our path, is that kind of sense of feeling. And that's where the balance comes from within us, the balance of the yin-yang, the balance within us of the divine energies, and then we are kind of becoming a whole being, and then ready to be able to be with another whole being. Okay, and I've got the Knight of Wands here showing up, and the Four of Swords showing up. So I think as this time is given, as we're taking this time now to begin to figure this out, and we've done a lot of growth, because you've got the Wounded Warrior here. So as I said, we've been through a lot before we get to the Page of Cups here, and the willingness to go back in there. And I think that's the growth we're at now. And now we're discovering that kind of inner outer balance. So I'm just going to draw a couple of oracles, as I was telling you, from the Wisdom of Avalon. We've got the High Priestess here. So this is definitely a trust, almost not exercise, but a trust time for us as we are willing to move into more and more cosmic connection and cosmic consciousness. So being able, so this is discernment, prophecy, and vision. Remember I said you've got the King of Swords here with the discernment, the Sword of Truth. So trusting that we have discernment and we kind of can't, and the devil and the temptations that happen to try and take us off our path, we can now challenge that and go like, okay, test it out. Let's see if in truth, is this just temptation or is this actually what my heart really desires? And that's not just in an individual, although as I see in this reading, moving individual to the collective, okay? All right, well, there you go. Thanks very much today. And yeah, I'll be doing this once a week, and it's on sarasam, as you found. And we'll see you next Friday.